This was given to me by my buddy Matthias, who's maybe one of the smartest people in the world. He's using a software application called Grist, Grist. Grist. Grist reminds me a lot of Airtable. But what I'd love to do is encourage, especially leadership. If you're C-level, director level, it's really important that you have systems for your decision making. It's critically important that you have systems for your decision making. As a matter of fact, there's one of my favorite quotes of all time, Ralph Burns, if you don't mind. I'm going to pull it up here. It's Rene Descartes, who's ostensibly the father of Western philosophy. And he says, each problem that I solved became a rule, which served afterwards to solve other problems. And what's nice about things like Grist or even Airtable, I like Grist more than Airtable because it has no limitation in the automation. Airtable, people, shame on you for the automations cap. It's insanity to me. You can't even buy additional automations, Ralph. It pisses me off. But with an application like this, what you can start to do is all of the things that you do on a regular basis, you can begin to automate them according to logic. And it's completely customizable. You're effectively coding without having to code. It's maybe my new favorite no-code software. So if you're in a leadership position, don't worry about not being able to code because it's not about coding. It's about logic. If this happens, then do this thing. And just go play with it, and you'll start to see the amount of leadership tasks you can automate simply. And I think it's a phenomenal little tool. I'm not an affiliate at all. I should be. But that's my nugget for today is go check out Grist and get really good at process management. If you're in a leadership role, you have to be really good at process management. And the way to do that is to map out your processes. And these little software applications are great places to start.
Have you used it yourself, or do you have people on staff that have used it? Like, how did you find out about it?
Dude, my whole agency is built on Airtable. So Solutions 8 is built on Airtable from the ground up, which my Airtable implementation is badass. Someday we can go over that if anybody wants to, if that would be a good episode. Grist is like Airtable without the limitations that I hate about Airtable. And that's the other thing that's really interesting is, you can't outsource your push-ups. And so I'm really big on delegation, per the conversation we're going to have today, which is having the right people in the right seats. But if you don't know that a process is delegatable, you can't delegate it. And so you have to know enough about process management to know what to delegate, how to overview, what the oversight looks like. So there is an element of you have to get in the weeds here a little bit. And that's what I think everybody should go play with something like this. It's really worth the time spent because now you're like, oh my goodness, I can just make somebody else. And now I have that. I've got Julianne, who's the head of our automations team. She's freaking brilliant. She's really the mind behind our Airtable. But if I didn't know how Airtable worked, I never would have known to say, hey, Julianne, can you please go do this thing?
I actually think that doing a show, depending on how we really value everyone's feedback here. I mean, today's show is not about media buying and digital marketing, but it actually is. And we're going to relate it back to that. And I think you actually talking through how you guys utilize that in a separate show with some screen captures might actually be really super valuable for folks. So, but definitely check it out. So we'll leave links in the show notes. It is Grist, Grist.
Yeah, it's getgrist.com.
Getgrist.com. We will leave links in the show notes for that.
This is the scariest video that I've ever recorded. I am uncomfortable with this topic because I'm giving away the thing that I'm most proud of from an entrepreneurial perspective. However, I think this could be of immense value to a lot of people. And I also am in